The ADC party has released a press release saying that they will consider in their last final NEC meeting if they are to zone the presidency to the south. Well, just in case they are not aware, the Obima movement has released a warning, all right? And this is a warning that is just like a riot act, that if they fail to zone that presidency just as PDP has done to zone to the south, haven't made a mistake in 2023, that ADC would die a natural death. All right. In other news, we have it that with the ongoing continual voters registration, it is the Southwest that has registered the most. I think that is a message to whoever that wants to challenge Tinubu come 2027. On my screen, you have it that the Southwest are leading in the numbers of registrants. That in a space of 1 week, the Southwesterners have been able to register not less than 1 million. 1 million, when I mean 1 million, 1 million new registered voters. These are not ghosts. These are real people. This is to let you understand how the narrative of tribalism, how the narrative of standing with our own has worked in Nigeria. In the last 2 years, so many of the people who supported OB in 2023, some people who did not vote in 2023, who are Yorubas, most of them are queuing behind Tinubu for ethnicity reasons, for ethnic sentiment, for ethnic bias and whatnot. And this is why it is important that ADC must take a cue to understand that if they fail, to zone their presidential ticket to the south, and by the way, OB is not his only southern candidate in ADC. This is what the obedient movement, the obedient ninjas are bringing to the notice of the ADC. Die that conversation that there is nothing like zoning arrangement, that there is nothing like tribe, that they should cancel it, that they must be pragmatic, that the most popular candidate in the country today after Peter Obi is another southern candidate, which is Tinubu. Those are the only two popular candidates out there. It is not because they are the most famous, it is just simply because it is still the turn of the south. When it turns back to the turn of the north, these two guys will no longer be famous or any other southern candidates, because Nigeria are still deeply involved, engaged in tribal politics, and that is the reality. So for me, I understand now that what Tinubu has been doing has really done a great deal on the southwestern people. It has done a great deal even on the obedience movement, because why the obedience movement have always shouted, why we have always shouted for good governance. It is a good governance that is led, charged by a Peter Obi. All right. And a Peter Obi wave came at the right time, which was the time of the South. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a coincidence. It was a calculated move. If Atiku denies this man to attain that peak of the wave, because 2027 will be the last chance Obi has to run. He has said it, that beyond 2027, he will not run again. So those are not my words. But again, if Obi even decides to run beyond 2027, I can guarantee you that by 2031, if Obi tries to run, the North will not support him. Because the North will rightly say that it is our turn. And there are so many Northerners out there who are claiming that they cannot trust, that they cannot trust a Southerner who has not ran before, who has not found himself in the position of presidency and come out to vow. So this is why we keep saying that ADC must abide by this Nigerian, character, which is the federal character. The Nigerian ADC, the ADC party must take action immediately. Okay, Jackie Wires, who released a memo, has said that the primaries will be held next year, 2026, in June, July. So their next meeting will be happening in the next 1 or 2 months. Will decide whether they will zone it to the south or not. And these are the issues. Why wasting time? Tinubu is already galvanizing the southwest. I have seen some middle beltons who are moving wavy. They are moving wavy. They don't know if they should stick with Obi or they should just stick with Tinubu. Okay, when this indecisiveness is coming from ADC, then they are just opening and they are opening a space in the wall for the lizard to crawl in, because Tinubu will always seek for a division in any coalition. That is what he is. It was that same division that he used somehow to either win or rig the election in 2023. Because we all know that if they were together in 2023, okay, the chances of Atiku winning would have been higher. Yes, if Atiku had just stepped down for Obi in 2023, okay, or somehow if Obi had worked with Atiku in 2023, whether as vice, whether as the president, whatever the case is, they might have won. But now everybody is conscious of the southern agenda because Tinubu has propagated it. Tinubu has sponsored it into the media waves, and so many people are now sentimental that it is not only the North who are born to rule. I mean, there are so many Igbos out there who are claiming that they would rather vote for Tinubu rather than voting for Obi. There are so many Yorubas out there who are saying that if Atiku wants to find every necessary means, okay, to sideline Obi, to ambush Obi in the ADC, because we know those who are in the decision-making position in ADC are Atiku men. They are Atiku staunch men. Is it David Mark? Is it Aregbesola? These elements are all close allies of Atiku. All right. So if somehow the ADC cook up a story just as they did in PDP in 2022, trying to tell us that, well, the ADC doesn't want to be tribalistic. They don't want to set the foundation of the North and South dichotomy. It is just a waste of time and is an exercise in futility, because the ADC, the obedience, will depart. They will go their separate ways almost instantly. All right, almost instantly. And I don't think Obi will try to go back to PDP. Okay, no, because we all know that Wike's tentacles is all around the neck of PDP. We all know that PDP is still within the shackles, under the spell of Wike. And the only option at that time that will be left for Obi will be Labour Party. But we know that Labour Party, as it stands today, has been infiltrated by Tinubu. Hence, it will more or less look like like an ambush laid by Atiku against Obi. And for that reason, you see that at the end of the day, so many people will vote angrily for Tinubu, or so many people will rather not vote, and we will have what we call a massive voters apathy, probably in the south, or wherever the supporters of Obi might be, because they will be angry against Atiku. And this is why, for me, we must take this 2027 as a matter of life and death. We cannot continue to play the hypocrisy. I love what is going on where people are telling Atiku, step down. Oh God, this is not your turn. Oh God, you are not the only one. Be contesting every goddamn year. You put yourself, you insert yourself into all presidential election. What is the matter? Are you being sponsored by the Western allies? Is it Tinubu that is sponsoring you? Why are you against the progress of this nation? Atiku has proven to always be the guy who will divide the vote for the better candidate, for the best option. If Atiku wasn't in that game, or in in the conversation, he had stepped down, perhaps maybe an Obi would have won that election. I mean, his chances would have been higher. Yes, because Obi would have remained in PDP. Or perhaps most of the PDP structures in the North Central, where Atiku got those votes, would have voted for him. And forget about that conversation. Maybe Atiku would have won the North. Tinubu would have won the North. It's a lie. Because Atiku would have passed down, okay, a structure to to Obi. So for us, we have seen the handwriting. The gimmicks of ADC trying to play, a double-faced agent, trying to play, trying to be clever by half, by telling us that they don't want to play politics of tribes, that they don't want to respect the Nigerian democratic system and arrangement. We will not stop to call it out, because it is important that ADC respect the zoning. It is very important. We have already seen what is going on with the voters. This is why so many people are not even ready to galvanize in the southeast, because if ADC today zone their ticket to south, it is apparent that the only man that can defeat or that will win uncontested or unchallenged in that southern presidency is, of course, Peter Obi. And Peter Obi will win, and you will see the massive turnout, the massive increase in registration in ADC in the southeast, even in south. Everybody will run to the registration center and start, registering. But as long as ADC are still, they don't want to be decisive. They just want to keep playing us like a ping pong, playing us back and forth. Everybody will just be looking at them. Everybody will just keep quiet and be looking at them, because it's more or less like ADC not zoning is more like they are working for Tinubu. And these are the issues, these are the conversations that we must continue to have. The North winning the election or making Tinubu to win the election is in the hands of ADC. If ADC sincerely wants to be a national party, a formidable party, just as PDP was between 1999 to 2014, they must, right from the get-go, state it out clearly that zoning will be in their constitution. There's nothing wrong about it. That is the right thing to be done. And like I said, the only man, that can challenge Tinubu by 2027 is Peter Obi. Not because Peter Obi is competent alone. No. It is because Peter Obi is also a southern candidate. And it has to be a southern candidate that will kick out a southern candidate, not a northerner whose elder brother just completed 8 years. And then you think you can come on board and use maybe your population might. It's not going to work, because we know with the voters registration that there are so many political animals in the south now than in the north. All right, it's that report sheet of voter registered within a week across the Nigeria has proven to us that we have more voters who will vote by 2027 than anywhere in the north. Shows, all right. But to be now, what scares me is most of those voters are in the southwest. And I'm not going to deny that the southwesterners sometimes vote, in line of ethnic bias, considering the level of bigotry, considering the level of insults between the Igbos and the Yorubas that has consistently happened in the last 2 years. So some people want to vote just to get back those that insulted their kings. Some people will vote in support of Tinubu just because Atiku has decided not to step down for Obi. So these are these bias out there. These are the issues out there. And there's no point hiding it. I've always said it, that Nigeria is a tribal country. There's no point trying to say that, well, if Obi does not get the ticket, I saw someone telling me that I'm trying to sell I'm trying to demonize the Atiku Obi ticket, that if Atiku becomes the president, Obi cannot, I don't want to complete that statement. Obi cannot say he wants to deputize Atiku. He can't, he dare not. He knows he's committing a political suicide. They call it political arakiri. He won't dare it. He cannot say that he wants to he would rather not contest. Because the ovation is high. How will you willingly, drop your birthright when everything shows, when everything, the narration suits you, everything is in your favor?
For me, I'm very aware that we stopped discussing politics and start discussing the development of the people, investing in the real areas, measurable areas of development, which is education, health, and pulling people out of poverty. And we can't do that without investing in the people. Governance is about the people. Service is about the people. By doing this, I want to ensure and create awareness that we politicians should abandon discussing politics daily and start discussing governance and welfare of the people daily.
Okay, so the students about food sharing, and you've already started out to 20 billion naira.
Which will buy 5. So we are looking for 10 more. So by this, I'm going to be appealing to other people to say, wait, we cannot have a society where we spend millions to buy cars for political office holders, and young people are looking for tools to go to education. And schools don't have lab, they don't have classrooms, they don't have chairs. But we politicians are living like sand. It shouldn't be. We must dismantle it and invest in critical areas of the world.
Well, encouragement to the students.
I urge them to take their education serious. It is important to them. It's a tool they need for global competition. It's the greatest asset they need in their life. I was once like them. That's why I'm struggling to build a society where a child of nobody can be somebody.
Okay, so what is the fate of the position without Africa be at the standard bearer, 20%?
Well, I don't want to talk about politics. 2027 is not where I want to be. Let me talk about how the average Nigerian can put food on his table. Let me talk about how these children can be in school. How our secondary school, primary school can perform. How the average Nigerian can go to hospitals and be cured. When 2027 comes, we'll be there. I assure you, I will contest.
Thank you very much.